have died in Mexico's drug war. And now shocking details emerging of a new killing that seems to represent the horrifying nature of the conflict. Brian Todd is looking into this for us. What are you seeing, Brian?
Wolf, this was a very grisly case, a clear message from cartel leaders to other local mayors who try to stand up to them, and a symbol of how this drug war, even with some positive signs recently, is far from won. She'd survived 2 assassination attempts and the killing of her husband. But this time, as her daughter watched, Maria de los Santos Gorostieta could not escape. Dragged away, tortured, stabbed, beaten to death, the mayor of a small town in the Mexican state of Michoacan became the latest high-profile casualty in the drug war. Gorostieta's body was found in a ravine over the weekend. For denouncing traffickers, she became one of more than 24 mayors in Mexico assassinated in drug-related violence since 2007.
Good morning, America. Today we have an especially riveting topic at hand, the Mexican drug trade. For years, the U.S. has been involved in helping to enforce the policing of drug trafficking organizations, better known as DTOs. What we want to talk about today is should the U.S. stay active in the policing of these DTOs in Mexico. To start off, I will give a brief history of the relationship between Mexico and the U.S. regarding drug trade. Drug trafficking organizations have operated in Mexico for more than a century. The Mexican DTOs are the major wholesalers of illegal drugs in the U.S. and are increasingly gaining control of U.S. drug trade through alliances with U.S. gangs. However, their operations are less violent in the U.S. than in Mexico, despite their reported presence in more than 1,000 U.S. cities. Now that we've covered some of the history of this issue, we are going to have Max Rubin as our drug war specialist to delve deeper into this fascinating topic. Hi, Max.
Hi, Jennifer. Thanks for having me on the show.
So could you tell us some of the issues that are going on with specifically the U.S. and Mexico's current relationship?
Sure, Jennifer. Ever since the presidential change in 2012, Mexico has increasingly wanted to cut off ties with the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency, the DEA. U.S. law enforcement and security agencies had worked closely with their Mexican counterparts on a strategy that aimed at arresting or killing high-ranked members of the cartel, which is the Mexican mafia running the illegal drug trade. The U.S. government was able to eliminate dozens of them. However, unfortunately, prohibition-related violence increased. Now, the Mexican government is getting a better handle on the issues by themselves. Previously, there were many major problems relating to the lack of action by the Mexican government because there was not a single individual in the Mexican government that was coordinating all the efforts. Nobody knew what was going on. It is the responsibility of Mexico rather than the U.S. to pursue criminals and punish them to pacify the country.
Now, how much has the U.S. spent on the drug war as of today?
Well, Jennifer, the U.S. federal government has spent over $15 billion in 2010 on the war of drugs, at a rate of about $500 per second in this year. So far this year, the U.S. government has spent $18,378,855,656 and is still going up.
And what has the president of Mexico, Enrique Peña Nieto, done in an attempt to cease this sort of behavior from the cartel?
Well, Jennifer, President Peña Nieto has proposed some new approaches, such as build up a stronger and larger militarized police force. Not only does he want to expand and improve Mexican crime prevention programs, but he also wants to refocus the strategy on lowering violent crimes. These violent crimes he speaks of are anywhere from homicide to kidnapping. But President Peña Nieto has also tried to shift the national conversation to more of a positive message about economic growth, rather than remaining focused on organized crime groups and the violence and mayhem that they cause. Although security is a priority, it is not the top priority of the Mexican government. These are prime issues like the economy and trade, advancing manufacturing, infrastructure, and energy. Through acknowledging and working on these issues such as manufacturing and infrastructure, it will cause a chain reaction that in the long term will help stimulate the economy and in turn will decrease the recruitment of people in poor neighborhoods and in the cartels.
So Max, in your professional opinion, what do you think the American government should do when it comes to their involvement in the Mexican drug war?
Well, Jennifer, being that this is a controversial issue, there are pros and cons to both sides of this issue of involvement. But in the end, the cons outweigh the pros. By withdrawing, we have more money for our government use on ending drug trafficking in the U.S. Also, this would enable us to decrease growing tension with the Mexican government. The Mexican government has expanded their programs to police drugs in their country. So by getting out now, we can keep a good relationship with them.
Thank you, Max.
My pleasure.
Yes. And that is all for today. Have a wonderful day and stay tuned for more next time.